Overcoming fear before the U.S. citizenship test. Learn English and civics naturally.
Welcome back to Pathway to Citizenship. Tonight, we're beginning something special, a 3-part deep dive into the U.S. citizenship test. But instead of only drilling flashcards, we're going to explore the why behind the answers, and even more importantly, Mark's own journey. Mark, you ready?
I think so, though every time I hear citizenship test, I get this little knot in my stomach.
That knot is normal. It means you care. So let's start right there. What makes you nervous?
Well, part of me feels like the test is this giant wall. 100 questions and only 6 wrong answers allowed in the interview. It feels like one mistake could erase years of effort.
That's a common fear. But let's reframe it. Imagine you're preparing for a marathon. Do you run 26 miles every day?
No way.
Exactly. You train in smaller stretches, build endurance, and by race day, you're ready. The test is the same. You don't need perfection every step. You just need steady practice and the confidence to keep going.
I like that. Though, to be honest, sometimes I wonder if I even belong here. Like, am I American enough?
That's powerful. And let me tell you, belonging isn't measured by accent, birthplace, or the number of years you've lived here. It's measured by your willingness to contribute to the community and honor its principles. The test is just the government's way of saying, do you understand the blueprint?
The blueprint. That's the Constitution, right?
Exactly. The supreme law of the land. Do you remember that question?
Yes. If the officer asks, what is the supreme law of the land, the answer is the Constitution.
Perfect. Now, instead of seeing that as trivia, think of it as a compass. Without it, the country could drift in 100 directions at once. You're not memorizing words, you're learning the language of belonging.
That makes me feel less like I'm cramming for a pop quiz, and more like I'm joining a conversation.
That's exactly it. And I want to hear your conversation with yourself. Why do you want citizenship? What drives you when the knot in your stomach tells you to stop?
Honestly, I think about my kids. They were born here, and they already belong. I want to vote in their future, stand beside them as equals, not as someone always carrying a green card like a permission slip.
That's a beautiful motivation. And remember, the test reflects that spirit. For example, one question asks, what is one responsibility only for U.S. citizens? Do you know the answer?
Voting in federal elections.
Exactly. And you just said it yourself. You want a voice in shaping your children's future. That's not just passing a test, that's living the responsibility.
I never thought about it that way.
Mark, here's the secret. When you tie the answers to your story, they stick. You'll never forget voting as a responsibility because it's woven into your motivation.
That feels so much more natural than flashcards.
Good. Now let's have a little fun. If the test were a board game, what would it be?
Oh, definitely Monopoly. Long, stressful, and someone always ends up broke.
Fair. but I'd argue it's more like Jenga. You carefully stack knowledge, and if one piece wobbles, you don't collapse. You just steady yourself and keep going.
Okay, I like that better, though sometimes my tower feels pretty shaky.
That's why we're here, to make it sturdy, and tonight we'll start building piece by piece with your motivation as the foundation. Let's get practical now. The test isn't just history, it's about feelings too. For example, how did you feel when you first held a U.S. flag?
Honestly, a little awkward, like I was borrowing someone else's symbol.
That's honest, but think of the question, why does the flag have 13 stripes?
Because there were 13 original colonies.
Right, and why does the flag have 50 stars?
For the 50 states.
Perfect. But the deeper meaning is unity. Different states, different people, stitched together into one design. Just like your story, different roots, but sewn into the fabric of America.
That's actually kind of moving.
That's the idea. Citizenship isn't just paperwork, it's identity. Tell me, when you imagine standing at your oath ceremony, hand over your heart, what do you see?
I see my kids smiling. I see myself finally being able to say, "This is my country."
That's powerful. And the test questions are like stepping stones to that moment. For example, what do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance?
The United States.
Exactly. But imagine saying those words as a citizen. It's not rote, it's personal.
I think that's what I'm craving. To not just live here, but to belong here.
And that craving gives you energy. Think of the question, what is one promise you make when you become a United States citizen?
To be loyal to the United States.
Yes, and you already feel that loyalty in your heart. The test isn't measuring how American you look, it's measuring how deeply you understand those promises.
That makes me less afraid of the questions.
Good. Let's role play a bit. Imagine I'm the officer. I ask, what is the rule of law?
It means everyone must follow the law.
Great. Now make it yours. Say it like you're teaching your kids.
Okay. Even the president has to follow the law, just like you have to follow the rules at school.
Perfect. That's not just an answer, it's a life lesson.
That felt good.
See? When you connect answers to your story, you stop fearing the test and start owning it.
Yeah, but sometimes I still hear this voice in my head saying, "What if I fail?"
Then let's answer it with another question. When do we celebrate Independence Day?
July 4th.
Correct. Do you know how many immigrants have celebrated their own Independence Day the moment they passed the test? Millions. Some failed once, even twice, but they got back up. Failing a step doesn't erase the journey. It just proves your determination.
That's encouraging.
Good. Because this isn't just about you passing. It's about you stepping into a legacy of people who fought, studied, stumbled, and kept going until they belonged.
I want that.
And you'll have it. Every answer you practice is like another brick in the road to that ceremony. Tonight, you've already laid a dozen.
So instead of a wall, it's a road.
Exactly. And you're walking it steadily, confidently, towards citizenship.